All right, thank you everyone for coming to TC16. This is a session for Revolve, Analytics in Fashion, Data Visualization is a new sexy. My name is Daniel, I'm the Director of BI at Revolve Clothing, and here's my colleague Feng Wan at BI as well. All right, and our hashtag is sexy data and also data16 retails. So go ahead and tag pictures, whatever. We'll see you on Instagram. So agenda for today, we'll talk about fashion and analytics. Why are those two related, right? Because you usually think about those two things, they're kind of separate. So we'll talk about some of the reports we use that actually bridge the gap. And also we'll talk about implementation, how is it being architected, what is the data warehouse behind it, and also most importantly, how is it used? How does it actually drive the business? And we'll also have some time for demo and also questions as well. So first of all, who is Revolve? So how many actually heard about us in the past? Oh, cool, wow. And how many actually bought things from Revolve in the past too? Good for you. Thank you. So we are the leader in online apparels, well, at least one of the leaders. We don't know any of the competitors' data because they're private, we're also private as well. We have over 600 employees in Southern California, and we had roughly $450 million in revenue in 2015. Just kind of bear with me. I have a couple more slides from PR. They insist me, putting things here. So, so we have two sites. One is Revolve, which is our main website that basically kind of is like the mass market, slightly, more approachable prices, and we have roughly 600 different brands. Some of them are actually in-house. We actually, build them or manufacture them ourselves. We also have some third-party coming from different suppliers. And also we have Forward, which is our more upscale premium website. Contains things like, Canada Goose, Montclair, things that are slightly more expensive. And basically we kind of value our first-class customer service as well as the very exclusive list of roster of designers that we work with. All right, and the company was founded in 2003, so it's been a while. It's growing very organically, so without too much exposure in the media and such. But in the last couple of years, we've been having a very fast growth, basically healthy double-digit growth in the past couple of years. And the company is also very ambitious as well. So based on articles from 2016, Fortune articles, the CEO of the board decides to hit the $1 billion revenue mark in the hopefully not too distant future. So how do we get there? And how do we use the data? So we support a lot of different teams. So let's talk about who we support first. So we're a team of BI, business intelligence team, right? So we support the entire organization. You can think of us as an internal consultant for different organizations within the company. So that ranges from marketing. We also have a big team of international analysts that's kind of spread across from China all the way to Japan and Korea and in Europe as well. And also we have a big team of buyers. Those are ones that fly out to those fashion shows and get to do all the good stuff. And also we have SiteMerge team that manage the website, that manage the content of the website, as well as the operations, product, financial accounting, and a lot of smaller teams that I'm not mentioning here. And so what do we analyze? What kind of data do we do? So for different teams, for marketing team, for example, we care about the performance, we care about the cost, the return on ad spend, and also we care about the sell trend, what is selling well, what's not selling well, what can we put off the website, what can we get more stock in the inventory. And also the inventory position, where are we in the inventory? Are we, the holiday season, big Black Friday is coming up, are we doing good? Are we going to get more items stocked up? Can we just pull some items off? And the SiteMerge strategy, like I mentioned earlier, how the website is structured, can we kind of change the button here and there to make the performance a little better. We also do A/B testing too. So we have A/B testing platform in-house, so we can evaluate different feature on site and as well as different placement of the category on the website to see how it performs. And right now we have several different deliverables or different main focus within the BI team. So first thing is the automated Excel report. So this is, I'm sure you guys all probably still use it. Some of them probably still do. We have something called Scorecard, which is an automated Excel spreadsheet. So you click a button, you retrieve data from our MySQL database and generates a report for you. So it's auto I kind of say it says automated. I should put the quotes around it. It's just semi-automated because once you get the data out, you can't really interact with it, right? You can print it out and bring that with you to the meetings, but you can't really do much with it. We also have some ad hoc analysis. This is pretty common. A lot of things that just can't be fulfilled with self-service, so we still have those that's out there. And like any other organization, we have file drills as well. CEO come to me, say, hey, why are we having a bad sale yesterday, or why is the page view was very low for this particular page? Then we have to go, have an interruption-driven process to figure out the issues, right? And we also have different fragmented portals for different marketing vendors. So for example, we have Exact Target for our marketing email channel, right? So we have portals we can log into to see how the performance is going, what the costs are, and also we have different affiliate website that we work with. We're very close, like Pot of Wars and Ebates, as well as we have GA data, right? We have data coming from different sources. So prior to Tableau, we just basically go into different portal and pull data ourselves. A very manual process. And last but not least, we have Tableau dashboard. That's why we're here, right? So, all right. So I actually shown this in last year's TC15 slides, but I'm going to show it again. So have you guys seen this before? Do you guys know what HIPPO is? Yeah, so HIPPO stands for the highest paid person's opinion. So if you have a group of analysts sitting together, you have the VP of marketing say, hey, let's do this. You guys will have to, kind of say, yes, let's do it, right? But hopefully, if we have data to support our claim to back it up, then we can make a better judgment. We can make a better decision in the end. So prior to having lots of data, we were just basically entirely opinion-based. We're trying to kind of shift towards more on the left side to make it more data-based. And like I mentioned here, with analytics, we sort of enabled our final users, in this case, analysts and buyers, to make data-driven decisions instead of just picking one random method that works in the past. All right, so why are we using Tableau? So first of all, we are a very small team. So we have 2 of us right now. That's basically a quarter of the entire BI team. So we have 8 BI analysts and data scientists combined in the entire organization. And we also support all the clients, like I mentioned earlier. We have marketing, we have internationals. Basically, I think if you add up all the numbers, we support 100 different full-time employees with data supports, right? So there's a lot of requests coming in. And we only have a very small DBA team. We have a team of 3 dedicated DBAs, but only 0.5 FTE is allocated to BI. So a very limited amount of resource that's available to us. And because of that, we also don't have OLAP Cube, no fancy MDX, no fancy, partition or things you can do within OLAP to make your data warehouse go faster. And also, our dev time for ETL is very minimal. So how many of you are actually BI analysts? Do you guys do, say, both the development of the report and also interpretation of the report as well, or just mostly focus on the technology side of things? Half? Yeah, OK. So from different organizations I were experienced in the past, like some people define BI very narrowly as a data warehouse engineer, right? And some organizations also define BI analysts as a business analyst. But we're actually wearing multiple hats. So we are data warehouse engineers. We have to write ETLs. We are also analysts, right? So we have to do a lot of ad hoc requests to figure out what's going on. And also, we are BI developer. We need to create reports based on those data we create as well. And also, we're a consultant, right? We're helping out the customer, our internal clients, to figure out what is the best way to drive the business forward. So, given that our dev time for ETL is very minimal, we need to, allocate the best resource to do the analysis work as opposed to doing all the data cleansing and ETL development. And also, the added benefit for using Tableau is we can reduce the data time. So we have MySQL implementation, which you guys probably know. It's not the fastest, the most stellar website or the database out there, right? So things are pretty slow. So we want to save some time because you don't want to basically run for 5 hours of queries and try to get some results out of it and do analysis afterwards. We want to get instant insights. And so with Tableau 10.0, we can start do the cross-database join. So actually it's a big helper to us. We can demonstrate some of that afterwards. And also the ease of deployment. Out of, I think, the 8 analysts we have, we didn't actually go through any sort of formal Tableau training, mostly self-taught. Some reports, we kind of watch maybe 5 minutes of YouTube video and try to learn how things are working. So there's really not much training required for Tableau Online. That's what we use. And there's no dedicated DBA to support the Tableau platform either. So definitely gets a big plus. And most importantly, it allows for instant visualization. So there's a saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but to us, dashboard is worth a lot of different spreadsheets. Okay, so we just answered question why, but question how. How are we using it? So we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of different clients ranging from international marketing all the way down to the operations side of things. But for Tableau, we mainly support 3 to 4 teams. So the buyers team, the analyst team, the studio planner, as well as the marketers. And Phone 1 will talk about, for the 2 teams, the 2 buckets of teams, how the Tableau is being used. So we'll talk about 4 different reports. One is the model performance, how is the model being evaluated with Tableau. And also homepage, for each different type of homepage, which one is working well for us, which one is not. And on the operation and marketing side of things, for a lot of things we carry in the inventory, where are they in the positions? Can we do a sales? Should we get some more stocks for those items? And also we talk about funnel analysis as well. The final goal is just to make sure that we can use in-house data and create reports that drive business. So always keep that goal in mind. All right, so the BI infrastructure at Revolve. So we are a MySQL shop. So everything is based on open source, free, quote free, infrastructure. So we capture the cash registry, the in-house clickstream, also the operation warehouse data, all in MySQL. And that same thing goes for our data warehouse as well. So MySQL is being the primary data warehouse. We also have a cloud solution. So recently we started trying out Redshift, and it's working well for us. But right now both systems still coexist. And ultimately on the deliverable side of things, we have Tableau, as our main reporting system, but at the same time, we really can't, still not quite there yet to get rid of Excel. People still love Excel, or we're still coping with that request, but hopefully in the long term, we want to get Tableau to replace Excel entirely. All right, so now I'm going to turn over to Phone 1 to talk about some of the quick wins and dashboard that we have in system.
Hi everyone, I'm Phone 1. I'm one of the 7 analysts in the BI team. And I've been with Revolve for almost 2 years, and I've been using Tableau for a little bit over a year. So here, I'm going to show you a few examples about how Revolve, as a company, we're making some quick wins by using Tableau visualization and analytics. So first example I want to show you is our model report. As a fashion online retailer, Revolve is hiring different models to display, to have our style shooting and display our products. As you can see on the right side, there's pictures of our models showing up. So models are super important to us because they together represent the look each brand is projecting, and they also represent the style that is carried by Revolve. Model can give our customer a first instant impression about our product, how is our product looking like when we actually wear them. And thus, it can largely affect their decision of purchasing. So we definitely want to measure models' performance. We want to know which girl out of our 10 or like 20 or 30 models, which one is our best model, which one sells the best, and what's each girl's specialization like, if this model is better with dresses or fashion tops. So that's why we built this model report to help us answer those questions. So the data for this report is coming from our MySQL database. We publish data source extract that updates daily. There are 4 worksheets put together in this one dashboard, and each allows us to view models' performance in a different direction. So the 2 metrics that we're looking at to measure models' performance is first is the sell-through rate within 7 days after the product goes live on our site, and then how many styles has this model been shooting with us. So let's start with this. Sorry, I thought we were going to have a pointer, but we don't have it, so I'm just going to point it. So let's start with this chart here. So we ranked all our models on this one chart based on their sell-through rate. Each dot here represents a single model. And this chart also functions as a highlight. We utilize in Tableau 10.0 highlight function. So if you select a single dot here, here the highest dot is selected, which is our top performing model, who is Crystal. And you can see that only information related to Crystal is highlighted in the other 3 worksheets. And from there, for example, in this worksheet, you can see that even though Crystal has a very impressive sell-through rate, she's the top performing model, but she's only been shooting with us for around 116 styles, which is not that representative in our inventory. It's only a small portion of our styles. And when our studio team is looking at this data, they might know, oh, Crystal is performing really well. People want to buy from her. And we might want to book her for more styles shooting to see if her sell-through rate is consistent over time. Like when she's shooting with us for like 1,000 and 3,000, if her sell-through rate still stays that high. And also in this worksheet on the right side, we can view Crystal's sell-through rate breakdown by category. And the cool thing here is that if you click on one single category here, this worksheet can actually reference image from our hosted server and shows you on the right side a picture of Crystal wearing a single piece from that category. And also it tells you a lot more information too. So as you can see that Crystal has a very high sell-through rate in fashion tops, that dresses, or other categories, which means that when Crystal wearing a fashion top, people really want to buy. So when this data comes to our studio team and they look at it, they might know, oh, okay, next time when we're booking Crystal for more shooting, we might want to put fashion tops on her instead of other categories. So this report in general is very powerful to us. Our studio team, we actually send out a weekly email about this report to our studio team, and they view them at a weekly level to determine which other models that they want to book next, or which are the ones they want to renew the contracts, and also as well as which models are best in which area. So.
Yeah, so we actually use this report quite a bit now. Some of the things we can actually drive, like business insights, just some recent examples is we're doing A/B testing, but even though we're saying A/B testing is really a testing on different model with different product, but with a similar style though. So kind of measuring models wearing slightly different, wearing accessories, wearing some kind of additional things to help her look better. Is that going to help out with the purchase? Is it going to help out with the conversion rate? Is it going to help out with the return rate? Right. So using this, you can instantly tell that if a given model was, if she is carrying a bag, or if she's carrying maybe some kind of has an earring or maybe a necklace, and those actually help out with performance in the end. So you can use this dashboard along with our A/B testing platform to instantly tell what is performing well, what's not performing well. Mm-hmm. So that combined with the domain knowledge, I guess if you're the studio manager that signs contract with the models, this report really helps them out to bring insights.
What would be the control value if you're A/B testing a model comparing for looks on her?
Well, the control is right now the status quo, right? So we're not doing anything with the model, but then if we're doing any sort of a variation, then we can add in additional, say, necklace or accessories, or maybe the poses. That can also help out too.
We did the A/B testing for poses, like if the model just stands still, or if they do a certain pose, which one is performing better.
Yeah.
So this is actually my favorite report because you get to see all the cute models, and because you usually see them on the website, but you don't know what's the data behind them, like what's their performance. But this one tells us a lot.
Yeah.
So.
We have a question.
Oh, sorry.
I'm assuming you have a content management system that you guys are feeding into your warehouse?
Yes.
Okay, and then this is just a
Exactly, yeah. So what it is actually a HTML or HTTP object or object on the Tableau, which basically references the website directly. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, our homepage report. So, our site merchandising team features different homepage stories that updates on a daily basis. The homepage feature would actually show up as a centered image on our homepage, and it's the first thing that our customer look at when they arrive on our homepage, and it's also the first image that we deliver to them. And as you can see on the right side, that we have different types of homepage features. Sometimes it's just a simple sale alerts with text image, or sometimes you can see that on the top we do category homepage feature, and this one is focused on denim. Or sometimes we promote for a specific brand. So this one is House of Harlow. Or sometimes we do influencer contents or occasion wear. But out of all these different types of homepage feature, how do we know which one actually work for us? Or how do we know when we put on a specific homepage feature, what can we expect from it? And which area shall we be focused on to improve? That's why we built this homepage story report. Again, the data is coming from MySQL database. Let's start with the scatter plot here. So the two main metrics we look at for homepage performance is clearly the click-through rate of that specific feature and also the average revenue generated per click. So here in this scatter plot, we put the x-axis here is the click-through rate and the y-axis is average revenue per click. We also so each dot here represents a specific homepage feature, and we're using different shape and color to differentiate between the image type and feature type of the homepage feature. So for example, all the light gray colors represent sale alerts, and the cross shape represents, I believe that's text image. We also have studio image, which are photos taken in our studio, or we have location image, which are the photos that taken outside the studio. So in this single scatter plot, we can actually have 4 dimensions, and together with the color, shape, and the 2 axes, it gives you a very visual and instant idea about how our homepage stories is performing. And also, if you click on one single homepage feature, so here a category homepage feature is clicked on, and a reference image and shows you how is this homepage feature looking like. So this category feature is activewear. And also on the top worksheet there, it highlights other metrics that relates to this homepage feature. And you can see a lot more information like the bounce rate or revenue per impression for this homepage feature. And here, in the lower worksheet, it gives you the average performance. Sorry, it's got blocked by this one, but it gives you the average performance for the category homepage feature in general. So you can compare this specific category feature, this activewear feature, to all the category features average, so to see how it's performing amongst peers. So this homepage story report in general gives our site merchandising team an idea about what to expect when they put on a specific homepage feature, like when they put on sale alerts. You can see that the sales, the light gray colors are clustered at the right side of the scatter plot, which means that sale alerts generally has a really high click-through rate. So when people see sales, they want to click on it. But in terms of revenue, it's not that high, which also makes sense because when we mark down item, the sale price is already lowered. And also, so when the site merchandising team put it on a sale alerts, they can expect more clicks, but maybe not that high revenue. And also, if you see the dark gray shape that clustered at the top, at the upper side of the scatter plot, those are occasion wear. And it's kind of surprising that occasion wear has so high revenue in general, but average click-through rate, which might be due to the reason that when people click on occasion wear, they are really in the need of buying something. Maybe they are last-minute buying for a dress to go to a party or an event. But it gives you this insight. And when the studio team put on occasion wear feature, they can expect higher revenue but average clicks. So by analyzing historical homepage feature performance, our site merchandise team can adjust upcoming homepage features accordingly.
Yeah, so just to put things in perspective, so prior to having this dashboard, we do have an analyst that kind of supports the site merch team. But her job was every Friday, she spent about 4 hours getting data from different sources and then bring a Excel report or maybe a Word document report. Actually, I think it's PDF now. It's a PDF report that has the picture that gathers the performance and also how it compare with the performance from a similar category, a similar type of page in the past. So that's a pretty manual process. But with this, you can go in the system every single day. It gets updated automatically. So essentially cut down that 4 hour per week requirement. So you don't need to, everything's kind of self-service at this point.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so if a homepage feature goes up live on site today, and you can immediately view its performance tomorrow. So it's very convenient for us. And next one I want to talk about is our traffic funnel report. So there's millions of visitors coming to our site each month, and our goal is to keep them and transform them from visitors to actual customers and obviously make sales from it. The auto funnel usually goes from visits to non-bounce visits to ad cart action and the final conversion. But out of these 4 steps, how do we know which step are we good at? And how do we improve our web analytics performance accordingly? The traffic, funnel charts is a very classic, but also basic chart type in Tableau. I'm sure if you start working with Tableau, this might be the first visualization that you start building. So by pulling traffic data from different phrases of our auto funnel into Tableau, we can clearly visualize how is our auto funnel narrowed down from visits to final conversion. And also here, by placing the funnel charts from different years side by side, it also tells us how is our traffic growing over time. So for example, here, the filters on the right side gives you an option to focus on the area, like the region or the country you're interested in. So here we're selecting Spain. So this is our traffic performance in Spain. And you can see that our funnel shape in 2016 is so much bigger than 2015, which is a good sign, right? It means that in terms of traffic, we are growing at a very healthy rate in Spain. But if you look closely, you'll see that even though the absolute visits number is much higher in 2016, but if you look at the non-bounce visits rate, the percentage of visits, you'll see that the non-bounce visit rate in 2016 is actually lowered, which means that in 2016 in Spain, a lot more people are bouncing up from our site. And it definitely flagged a warning sign to us to let us maybe dive deeper into this problem to see why is the reason. Is it because our site loading time is too long in Spain, or is it because our Spanish translation is not perfect? But we know that people are bouncing out. And also, if you look down the stream, you can see that ad cart rate is higher in 2016, but the final conversion rate is actually lowered. Is it because our checkout mechanism is not perfect? Is it because there's new shipping methods in Spain that people don't like? Or is it because there's new duty policy in Spain that's keeping people from checking out? We don't know the exact reason yet, but it tells you the problematic area that the checkout portion of this auto funnel is the area they want to focus on. So in general, this funnel report gives you a very high-level information about your traffic funnel, and it also pinpoints the problematic area for you.
Yeah, you guys probably seen a lot of nicer diagram than this for the past couple of days. So this is definitely not something that's like eye candy or anything like that, but it's a very easy dashboard to build. It doesn't come pre-built, but so someone does have to go into YouTube and look at for probably 5 minutes.
Follow the YouTube video.
Yeah, how it was done, but it does provide a quick win for us in terms of knowing where we are with the problem on the checkout funnel. Usually with any retailer, any e-commerce site, checkout is the one that we really care about the most because that's already a high intent customer. We don't want to make any mistake at that stage.
Yep. And here's the final example. Our brand merchandising and inventory position report. So we have 2 properties, as we mentioned before. We have Forward and Revolve. And on these 2 websites, we carry thousands of brands and tens of thousands of products. But out of this massive and sometimes overwhelming inventory, how do we know which product we should promote harder on our marketing channel? How do we know which ones we should mark down or buy more? We certainly don't want to promote for the products that's selling well, but it's already out of stock. So when people click on a sponsored link and they get on the site and sees a out of stock sign showing up, that can be a bummer. And we certainly don't want to mark down the products that is selling really well and it is very on trend. So we're using our warehouse inventory data and sales data to help us making brand merchandising and marketing strategy decisions. So this is how the report is looking like. In this scatter plot, we align product sales with their inventory. So the x-axis is gross sales, and the y-axis is current inventory. Each dot here is a single product, and if you click on a dot, it shows you the picture of that product, so you can see, because you can really tell from the product code whether it's a jacket or it's a shirt, but you can see from the photo how is the product looking like. And and you can see that for the products that clustered, that's grouped on the right lower corner of the scale plot, these are the products that has really high sales, but these are the best sellers for us, but they are sold out. We are running out of inventory. So these are the ones that we might want to focus on restocking. On the contrary, if you look at the products that's on the upper left corner of the scale plot, these are the products that we have very deep inventory for, but they didn't sell that well. So for those products, we might want to look deeper and see whether we want to promote them harder on our marketing channel to give them more visibility to our customers, or just do a markdown. And also, on the right side, there is a ranking of our monthly top selling brands. As you can see that in winter, Stasi has constantly been a top seller for us, but in November, Canada Goose sadly becomes the second top seller, which also makes sense because it's getting cold and people want to buy like warm coats. And this top brand ranking chart also works as a filter for this scatter plots. So if you click on one brand, it filters in only the products that relate to that brand. So you can focus on the brands that you are interested in. So, well, of course, like when it comes to brand merchandising and marketing strategies, there's a lot of other things that we're taking into consideration, but at least this scatter plot lets you view, gives you a very visual and instant idea of which products we want to focus on first. Is the product that cluster at this side and on the upper corner. So yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of add a thing to this. So you can also see we have a split on October and November, so to kind of show you a sense of movement between one position versus the other position. So I don't have a good, actually at top left. So you can see Lovers and Friends WD424 on top left, and you can sort of see that it kind of goes down a little bit and kind of moves towards the right. Is that right? Yeah. So that's telling us actually kind of moves towards the right. That's good. Yeah, so that's telling us we actually have higher sale and lower inventory now. So in that case, we don't need to do anything, right? That's actually the direction we want to push towards. But if it turns out to be kind of remain static on the high inventory, but it's not selling much, then we start wanting to take actions. And things on the bottom right, you can sort of see the same thing. If anything's not moving or it's moving in a negative direction, then we want to start taking actions and get those things clear out.
Okay.
Right.
So let's do some demo of how is our report is.
Yeah, so we'll demo the first and second chart. The funnel report might not be all that interesting, so you guys might not want to see it, but we'll demonstrate the model report and the homepage report.
This one is not showing. How come this one's not showing up?
So let's do control. While this is going, can we take any questions so far?
Can you turn your mic on? Sure.
Wow, you guys are a really quiet group. Sure.
So for these marketing dashboards that you have, so how many business users do you have using them on like a weekly basis?
Okay, all right. So the question is, for those marketing dashboard, that I guess it shows the inventory position and also the sell price, how many people are actually using it? So we have a team of roughly, say, 15 marketing analysts, international marketing analysts, and they're actually using those on a daily basis, not even weekly basis, because they need to look at it to see like from each channel, like how are direct traffic going, and how is that actually turning into revenue, and how's SEO channels. So those are actually being watched very closely on a daily basis.
Is that the only data point that they're using to make decisions? So I'm assuming they're executing based off what they see on the dashboard. Are they solely relying on that?
No. So we obviously have other things too. So this doesn't show the cost, right? So one thing that we're trying to get to in the next phase is automate the cost data. So cost right now is actually kind of spread across from different data sources, because it's a very segmented portals from different vendors. So that's where we're going next, is to get the data automated, imported into our data warehouse, and have those be able to report on the daily cost level and compare that with the revenue, so we can get the return on ad spend easily. Because right now we cannot do that. We can only get the revenue piece. All right. Any other questions? Oh wow. All right. There isn't a predefined set of threshold. So, because there's also a different variation or consideration that goes into this, right? Because first of all, if it's our own brands, because we have higher margin, obviously we can tolerate a bit more. So if there's a couple extra things in the inventory, that's fine. We can bear the cost, because if we sell those, we can make more profit. And also kind of depends on our relationship with the vendor as well. So ultimately, the buyer, individual buyers, and also the planning team make the decision, make the call, but there isn't a certain threshold that we stick with.
It looked like you were displaying a lot of data points on all of your dashboards. Does your leadership team or whoever's doing these dashboards appreciate how much level of detail you're providing, or have you been asked to just provide, okay, give me the story or the high level of what I should be focusing on?
Yeah, we definitely have that. So those dashboards right here you saw earlier. The question is, does the leadership actually look at it? Do they actually complain about the many data points or the busy charts? So the answer is yes. The leadership team, they do look at it. However, they don't look at it on a daily basis. Sometimes they just want to see like maybe a section of the chart where it just kind of shows overall trend, right? We have mostly our analysts kind of interpreting the data back to the CEOs, the VP of product teams, kind of interpret the data and then kind of summarize it in a way that they can better understand. So it doesn't feed the CEO or I guess the high level executive directly. We kind of do another level of filtering.
It's so funny. I feel like if you provide them that high level trend or analysis, they're like, oh, I want to see the detail behind it.
Yes.
That happy medium of like, how much should I be displaying to them?
Yeah, that's a very common problem, I guess. People want to have the ability to drill down, but once you drill down to it, they kind of lose out interest or they get sidetracked, right? That's always the complication with dashboard. But I think really the key here is to keep at the level of complexity that we wanted to communicate. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Who's your target customer?
Like target customer for the Tableau reports? Oh, for Revolve, okay. I guess, I don't know what the PR standardized answer is for this, but pretty much, I guess women from, I think between the age 21 to 35 with deep pockets. That's the classic definition for Revolve.
Younger audience.
Yeah, Revolve is generally younger audience. Forward, slightly more upscale. The age kind of towards geared towards a little older age group, but the price tag is a lot higher. Yeah.
How often do you leverage Google Analytics, or is that more like a self-service tool for the other teams to use?
So GA, we have GA Premium in-house. So we do. It's a complicated story. So we have GA in-house. We do leverage it for the marketing team, so they kind of use that as a standalone tool. But we also download the data from GA Premium as well on the session level, on the transaction level. So those data gets combined or through our ETL process, or actually through the cross-database join, and it gets linked together with the Tableau dashboard. So we know what UTM, like the source, medium, and campaign, where it came from.
That's where you're getting the sessions and like the bounce rates and the page level data?
No, that's actually, we use our in-house data for it. There's always the, if you have multiple source of truth, which one do you trust, right? We generally trust our own data better because we have the click level information. For GA Premium, I think you can look at the visit level, but if you want to see what happened with this click and what happened with next click, you kind of have to leverage the BigQuery, which is kind of new right now, but what didn't exist before. So we were entirely relying on our own internal clickstream tracking.
And do you use Google Analytics as a data source into Tableau?
We also do. I think maybe not without showing here, but one of the cross-database join is that we're importing data from the GA, bring that into a schema, and then also have data from other data sources and basically link up the data between the two. So we actually do leverage the transaction data because the tagging is very well managed.
You can layer this on top of the customer database as well. So if I look at the homepage and say this is how everybody behaved, but if I look at just customers who are signed up for email or have X spend in the last year, they behave differently?
Yeah, the question is do we actually intertwine our data with the customer database? In a way, so over here, not in this particular dashboard, we have some dashboard out there that we bring in information from the customer database, like the repeat customer, the high value, I guess we won't call it low value customer, but like the high value, different price tier of different customer grouping, and we do have those data kind of being sourced in. But it doesn't directly tie into the customer database because MySQL isn't best candidate for handling this kind of massive data simultaneously. All right, any other questions? Okay, cool.
Okay. So this is our report, the model report. So we showed you the information in this crystal here. And let's see another model here. Let's see the second top model, who is Ludi. And this is Ludi look like. And you can see that Ludi actually represents a large portion of our styles. She has been shooting with us for, so this is Ludi's. She has been shooting with us for almost 3,000 styles, making her high sell-through rate very stable and representative, and we can trust it. And you can see from this side that Ludi is really good with dresses, sweatshirts, and tops. So we know that next time when we book in Ludi for style shooting, we want to put dresses and and tops and sweatshirts on her. Any questions with this?
How do you define sell-through rate?
So sell-through rate is defined as within the first 7 days, all the inventory we have in the system, how quickly can we get those cleared out? So it's defined as say 50% or maybe say 40%. That means within the first 4 days, 40% inventory get cleared out at the initial batch.
But that would also be impacted by like sales.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
There's also the initial quantity too. So this is only one portion of the dashboard. We also have a dashboard that shows return rate and also click-through rate as well. Although right now, because it's still in the work, and also PR doesn't like us to disclose too much information because we're still private. But that information is also there for you to make decisions on.
Do you also consider impressions, like how many times that image was
We don't consider that, but we should be considering those. But unfortunately, we can't at this point because that's too much information for us to consume.
Because within the first 7 days after product goes live, it's still considered a new arrival item, and it shows at the new arrival section. So it gets a lot of exposure. Like usually all the products
That's right.
within the first 7 days have comparatively equal like exposure. So it's comparable.
Yeah, so actually just want to kind of fix my answer earlier. You can sort of see that this is actually the new model report. So this is only for, I guess, new product that goes on live, on site. So this, we're looking at first 7 days, but we have a new section on site. This is, when we compare click-through rates, basically you're always kind of sticking there, up there, with a fairly constant amount of impression. So it's kind of comparing apple to apple.
Yep. Let's go to.
I think we've done, I'm not sure if we've done tests like that. We've done tests where, not tests, but we've done a reshoot of models where it wasn't performing well for one model, and then we tried to reshoot with a different model afterwards and see if it helps out. But it's not as simultaneously. So basically, there's a time variation in it. So it's not A/B testing at the same time frame, but it's kind of A/B testing across time. So we've done that in the past.
Who drove that? Was that the merchandisers or the creative group that wanted you to start reporting on it this way? That's an interesting political thing. Do you remember how this started?
How it started? Actually, this kind of precedes my time, but I think this is the studio team, maybe? Yeah, probably the studio team. Yeah.
The studio team, the end users of this dashboard, is it self-service for them?
It's self-service for them, yeah. All right. Any question before we move on to the next dashboard? Oh,
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
one more.
Sorry. So this is our homepage report, and you can see the different image from different homepage feature. For example, let me find. So this one is wedding shop category. I think sorry. Oh, this one is wedding shop is occasion wear, and you can view its performance from. So you have to hover over to actually have it highlighted, and you can see the performance that its bounce rate is 50%, and compared to the average bounce rate, the average bounce rate is around 49%, so it's a little bit higher, which also makes sense because wedding shop doesn't appeal to everyone. Only people in need of having a wedding wants to stay on the site and click in. So yeah, and you can see all other homepage features, how it's looking like and its performance. For this one is Tula Rosa. It's a brand promotion, and and the bounce rate is 54, which is also a little bit higher. But yeah, but this report lets you click around and play with it and see how different homepage feature is performing.
Yeah, sorry for the flickering on the site and also the 404 for not found. But we sort of made the design decision to use hover action as opposed to click action so that it can actually get to the answer quick enough. But we do understand that also comes with the frustration where it's hard to actually pinpoint exactly what we're looking for without moving the mouse cursor. Any question on this report?
Who drove the implementation of using Tableau for reporting?
Who made the decision?
Who drove the?
I think was the COO's decision. So let's try out Tableau. So prior to Tableau, we really didn't have a visualization tool. I mean, we have Excel, and we have people taking screenshot and taking those screenshots into a PDF file and then present that to CEO prior to that. So this kind of automates the whole process for us. I mean, we're a small team, so we don't have too many. I only have like, I say 8, maybe 9 desktop licenses, and I think maybe roughly 30 viewer licenses or so. So it's a very small investment. Well, it's not a small investment, but it's a relatively small investment compared to some other companies. And that's enough to get us started with a self-service platform.
Do the executive team consume it through Tableau, or they still have to get presentations offline?
There are some reports out there at a high-level KPI which it gets consumed by the executive directly, but not at this level.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
How much bad data do you get? Like now it's
Sorry, do you mind repeat your question?
Bad data, how much bad data do you have, like notes and,
Got it.
fields, and how does that affect the statistics?
Yeah, so I mean, like any other organization, we all get bad data, right? So data cleansing is a constant battle. I wouldn't say a whole lot, especially if coming from like web analytics. If something is already kind of flow through, generated by computers, it's generally pretty good. There are occasional engineering mistakes. We have to correct backfill every once in a while. The largest issues sometimes come from, I guess, some of the homepage tagging. You know, like if you want to tag this, say this is I guess this is a bestseller, but if you tag it incorrectly, every once in a while we found out, then we need to go back and fix the data afterwards. Yeah, so anything where there's human entering involved, then it's prone to error, and we can't really fix that. All right, any other questions? All right, let's go to the next. Go back to the
I think
slides.
that's it.
Go back to the slides.
And if you go.
All right, so lesson learned. I guess the most important takeaway is that the creation of the dashboard itself isn't difficult. So it doesn't require a lot of trainings, and generally speaking, you can take about 4 hours, maybe 2 hours, and turn out one report, and that report can be saving you, lots of hours of repetitive work. So that's actually a big win for us. And also the lack of DBA resource shouldn't really be the excuse for a lack of analytics. So if we can do it with 0.5 FTE of DBAs, then you guys can do it too. And also, one of the things we discovered along the path of using Tableau is that we really like the scatter plot. If you utilize the X and Y axis for the location, and also utilize the color, the size, and the shape, it can tell you a lot of stories. And also, one of the few things, I'm sure you guys all been to the keynotes, and also I think they were mentioning that from the keynotes in 2015 as well. But the new feature, the vids within the vids, so you can hover over and show you the trend line, that's actually something we're anticipating for. That's actually going to help us very greatly. So we're waiting for, I guess, either 10.3 or maybe 11.0 release to get that functionality. And also the URL action that triggers the image, that's really important for us because, as a fashion company, we want to see what clothes are we selling, what the model look like, and that's a quick visualization for us. And I guess the final punchline is the fashion industry requires the right blend of data and also the analytics, or domain knowledge. So hopefully that's the final takeaway. Any final questions? All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Please do fill out the survey for TC16. Just fill it on the app and let us know if you have any questions.